Oh. Yeah. I love y'all. Yeah. What? Let's get some coffee going. Yeah, it looks like the creator of Dilbert cartoon comic strip. Now, maybe some people grow up, maybe some people don't give a shit about comics or cartooning or anything. Kind of an ancient, archaic skill at this point. Yeah. Newspapers, something I remember fondly from the last century or so. The internet, the digital age, did not kill printing in books per se, but it killed a lot of the industry. So, not entirely, but not. It definitely killed newspapers and comic books for sure. In its classic form. Social media ban. Yeah. Social media ban. I think that kids are going to cheat. You know, so you just create some pirates and hackers, basically. It's like you take away the drugs, you know, you create gangsters and drug dealers and drug cartels. It's just like that. It just turns into a black market at that point. Like, so I think in the past, maybe parents used to outsource parenting to the radio and television. And then eventually they outsourced parenting to the internet. And I mean, you wouldn't need Dr. Jordan Peterson in the first place trying to be the internet dad if there were real dads out there, right? So, just saying. There's too many lost boys trying to follow Peter Pan, and but it's not Never Never Land. Get that coffee going. All right. Yeah. So you wouldn't need an internet dad if people had dads, right? Yeah. But the problem is the TV generation. Pretty much, you know, people when they discovered television, when it was invented and installed into people's homes, basically the dad got off of work and he was like, I don't want to deal with this shit, parenting and the kids, you know, let mom deal with that, you know, at first. And it was like, you know, the dad wanted to just zone out on TV. He didn't want to deal with children or anything, obviously. I mean, I'm not saying every dad was like that, but it's fun watching TV. It's just little fantasies and things. TV and movies are fun because they're like little mini fantasies. And these fantasies can be fun. Because fantasy is, by its very nature, escapist and fun. But there'll always be a place in my heart as a guy who drew a lot himself. There's always a place in my heart for cartoonists like Scott Adams, who's dying right now in the hospital. I guess that's his project. He's live streaming before he dies. His cancer's getting worse, not better. And every time you see him, he's worse and worse and worse. You know, I don't know if this is end of life theater or what this is, but that's what he's doing. I guess, who knows, maybe if it gets really bad, maybe if he gets that green cancer face and he gets sores and stuff like that, maybe if it gets so bad, he might stop the live streams, but I think he's going kind of as far as he can go, all the way to the very ghastly death phase of the cancer. You want the banu? Okay. Let's have some banu then. We'll put the new banus. Okay, we'll put the new banus on the hanger, on the tree, on the metal tree here. Yeah. Let's get this banana. Social media ban on kids, all kids under 16. They had this thing called prohibition with alcohol. Granted, it was mostly for adults, but it was a major disaster in America. Prohibition. And it caused the rise of many gangsters in the black market, speakeasies, and Al Capone and Lucky Luciano and Bugsy, whatever his name was. So prohibition was a fucking unmitigated, horrible disaster. Not because alcohol is good; it's not good at all. So, I mean, if social media is eroding young people's brains, and if they develop better without social media until they turn 16, then, yeah, I guess that's a good policy. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Time to slip into something more comfortable. The sun has returned. Yeah. So far. I don't know if it's going to get cloudy again and murky tomorrow, but the sun is back. All right, now let's get on these dishes here. We're going to cook a dish tonight before hopefully a mild party. And not a crazy one, not till 7 in the morning, singing Tone Loc, Funky Cold Medina in my underwear. So let's go for something a bit more, I hope it's not singing Japanese songs at 7 in the morning in my underwear, as entertaining as that might be, singing in my underwear Japanese songs until 7 a.m. That's not my goal for tonight, though. Or tomorrow, for instance. So we'll try to do better than that. It's fun getting drunk and singing drunk karaoke to Japanese music, but J-pop, those girls are really pretty. Yeah. Sometimes they might have a J-pop band where all the girls are pretty, and then they might have a J-pop band where it's like few of the girls are kind of pretty, one kind of not so pretty, and then they'll have like one that's like just wow, like the knockout. Yeah. Making that fresh coffee, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of eerie watching. Actually, I didn't watch This Is a Spinal Tap because I already did when I was like in high school, watching my buddies watching it over and over and over again. I recorded it anyways, but yeah, it was eerie after the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife watching Rob Reiner's project comedy came out last year, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. And so I finally watched it to get some context from start to finish. And, yeah, it was eerie at first because his character, the documentary filmmaker, like I guess he was the Michael Moore of his time for a rockumentary in 1984 for the original Spinal Tap. And yeah, it's kind of eerie watching Rob Reiner speak so recently in a film. And they talk about death a lot, and that makes the movie even more eerie because they're like, he died, and what do you think about death? And it's just death, death, death. And yeah, it's pretty creepy, especially, I found it at the beginning when he's doing the introductions to be really creepy because they're joking a lot about death. And, but that theme kind of carries on throughout the Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. And was one of my favorite parts. Fran Drescher was always so sexy, even though some people say her voice was annoying. But, you don't stick your penis in someone's voice. It's somewhere else. So, an absolutely gorgeous woman, Fran Drescher. So it's so hilarious in Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. She has a cameo and she dresses herself up real hot. She has this like super huge tits. It's so funny. They didn't make a joke about her tits, but it was a funny cameo, right? So it's your basic Wayne's World type plot. The band has to get back together, to put on one last concert. That sort of shit. They use that, kind of similar trope in most band music, rock and roll comedy movies. A lot of great classic rock jokes. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and of course you have the cameos and the performances. Well, I guess Sir Paul McCartney doesn't. Well, he does perform Cups and Cakes. Yeah, he does. He gets Spinal Tap on their feet when they're hitting rock bottom. So Sir Paul McCartney does perform, but I don't think he performs at the final show. Unfortunately, that would have been badass, but it would have been cool if David Bowie was still alive and he was in it or something. That would have been, oh well, he died of liver cancer back in 2016. Too much of that bump, Too much of that cocaine back in those days. Probably destroyed his liver. I mean, who knows how much alcohol too, but I know it was a lot of fucking drugs. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, come it up. Hey, what's this? You gotta do it. Quiet. Quit fooling around. Hey, what are you doing? All right, you have to go to the bed. All right. There's no food in here. All right, so. Okay, sit down. Don't pull it up. You get a couple, you get a whoopings. Hey. Yeah. So kind of a slow burner movie. This is a Spinal Tap, eerie after the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. And yeah. It's not really that good, but for like a nostalgic movie, maybe. It's not just the last time you'll see Rob Reiner in a movie, but it might be the last time you see Elton John and Sir Paul McCartney. I mean, if that's going to be their coda, if that's going to be, I don't think it's necessarily going to be their swan song, their final goodbye, but they will have something together, of some sort to kind of say goodbye to that bygone classic rock era. So. So the movie is definitely a goodbye, but a sweet goodbye, and so it's kind of has an enduring quality about it, that it's being reverent and nostalgic for the past that is beloved, and it explores classic rock and musical tropes in such a clever way, I would say. Well, the first Spinal Tap did that, but I love this one. This is definitely like the final goodbye to the classic rock and rollers from the 1960s and 1970s and 1980s. So a goodbye to the 20th century rock and rollers and the daftness, the overproduction, the overthinking of the songs and the lyrics, poking fun at the industry as it was back then. So yeah, and a weird final film of Rob Reiner. So a strange goodbye from the great the great filmmaker and actor Rob Reiner. Da, da, da. Well, this is a Spinal Tap. It's good if you're nostalgic about the past. If you can get the jokes, it kind of reminds me of a classic rock band getting back together, but they're old is a funny concept. Kind of like the Rolling Bones, the Rolling Stones. But I chuckled the most, I think, when I thought about how much Spinal Tap is spoofing Yes and Genesis and a lot of those progressive rock bands like the Moody Blues. And so I think the addition of Sir Paul McCartney and Elton John elevated, definitely. If they didn't have any major stars like that doing cameos and singing songs, I think the movie would have failed its mission. But since it did have Sir Paul McCartney and Elton John, I think it fared a lot better in the nostalgic feeling that they were going for. So, yeah, great stuff. Michael McKean, brilliant as always. Christopher Guest, yeah, great shit. So, yeah, it was nice. Like it was kind of nostalgic, like looking back in your yearbook or something like that, touching. and remembering all the fun times you had with your friends in high school or something. It was like that. So it's like getting together with your old. It's like going to a 20-year-old, or I guess it's going to your 40-year-old high school reunion and then actually enjoying it. So, yeah. Instead of trying to avoid it. Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Rob Reiner and his wife. And this is the Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. Was it great? No. Was it good enough? Yeah, I'd say so. So, if you're a fan of music and rock and roll music, and that sort of comedy of the rocker and Wayne's World and all and Spinal Tap, and if you're fans of Yes and Genesis and the Moody Blues and the Beatles and Elton John and Rush, and yeah, you'll have a great time. So, God bless. Best of success. Yes. Make America great again. Donald Trump brought down the inflation to 2.7%, as the liberal media begrudgingly will report tonight, because they want to try to put the Democrats back in power. Yeah, in the U.S. Congress, in the House of Representatives, in the U.S. Senate. Will they regain power? If the economy's humming along, yeah, prices are going lower, they're fucked. They're not getting back power, I mean, for a long, long, long time. They may not even win. If they lose 2026, they may not even win 2028. So depending on who they run. No, I don't expect them, after the disaster of the Biden-Harris administration and the Democrat Party control from 2020 to 2024 in that stolen, rigged election with the Chinese plague and the George Floyd race riots, I think they are cooked for at least, maybe even a decade. I don't know how long they're going to be. They're going to continue to try to return to power, but I don't know when they're actually going to return to power. I don't see them coming back to power anytime soon, hopefully, for the sake of the Republic of the United States of America. God bless. Best of success.